Boy. I'm about to talk about season 2, episode 5. Interview with a Vampire. Don't be afraid. Just start the tape. Boy, hands down, I'm gonna tell you like this. This was to me my favorite episode of the season. Boy, this episode was fantastic. And throughout this episode, boy, I feel like we really got to see Armad's true nature. Um, I wouldn't say he is outright as sadistic as Lestat, but he has a very subtle sadisticness to him. This this ain't even have Claudia in it, nothing like that. This episode takes us back to 1970 some during the first interview with Daniel and Louis. And first of all, we done gon' we start this off already crazy. Daniel asked Louis if they had sex with each other. And it showed that y'all know they ain't do that. But doggone Daniel was taking his clothes off. He was ready to get it on. He ready to get it on with Louis. And Louis was telling his life story, all that. And every sentence that came out about Lestat, he was talking about how Lestat was no good, Lestat was this, Lestat was that. And we went through this whole interview, and back in the present time, Daniel told Louis that he could not remember what happened, and he wanted to revisit that with Louis. And what's peculiar about this, Louis could not remember this day either. And slowly, as the episode was going on, he was slowly remembering as well. So I'm sitting there looking at this, I'm sitting there, okay, something going on. And they was doing this interview, and back in this time, and back when Daniel was younger doing this interview, he wanted Louis to turn him into a vampire, which I knew that was coming because I remember the story. And Louis got pissed off, and he told Louis, said, I can be your Lestat. I can be your Claudia, except better. And I'm sitting there, boy. He made Louis so pissed. And let me just say this as well. The whole time, he just sitting there. Daniel is sniffing up that yellow, not that yellow, that white snow. He's sniffing up that white snow, if you know what I mean. And doggone, he getting high as a kite. But back to when Louis got mad with him. Louis attacked him, was about to drain him dry, and Armand came in and saved Daniel. And when he saved Daniel, Louis, high as a kite, off of drinking this high man blood, he went to tell him how Daniel is so much better to be around than him. Daniel is exciting. Armand hasn't been exciting for the 30 or 40 years that they have been together. And this is what Louis messed up. Armand started to tell him something. He told him, you really want to be with Lestat. Lestat is your go-to. You will throw Claudia's name in there every once in a while to throw off the fact that you are truly infatuated with Lestat. And Louis was talking about how he was degrading Lestat through the whole thing. And Ahmad didn't take that where he said, you just degrading him because you want him to hear this. When the interview come out, you want him to hear this interview, and you want him to, you know, the thing, I can't stand Lestat. No, he didn't. And Louis came into his reality, came back to reality that he is high and how life isn't so pleasing for him. And he ran out of that room and he walked out into the sun. And let me just say this. We finally got to saw what it's like for a vampire to walk out in the sun. Over halfway through the second season, we didn't get to see it in the first season. We got to saw it now. How would I describe this? It was like looking at someone melting away an Egyptian pyramid. That's how I would imagine it looking like. And knowing where they originally come from, that kind of makes sense. And Armand saved Louis from burning up. And I think this finna be the end of this episode. I'm thinking, it couldn't get no better. It couldn't get no worse. But it did. Armand saved Louis. And then he went back up in there. And I guess he gave Daniel something. Because Daniel was a corpse basically. So Daniel came back around and he is up in here. He is sitting in this chair. Daniel is. And Armand is just sitting there levitating him, telling Louis, oh, he's alive. You decided that you wanted to kill yourself. He's alive. Look at him. And he's levitating him and slamming him back to the floor. Levitating him, slamming him back to the floor. And Louis is begging Armand to stop doing that. Stop doing that. I the one brought him here. I the one did this. And he just continuously to torture Daniel in different ways and do all that. And he walked out and Louis is in a room and Louis cannot see Daniel. And Daniel in the present time is remembering little snippets of this. He remember a corpse in a plastic bag. Okay, the neighbor saw when Louis went out there and stepped in the sun, and Dongle Armand killed him. And Daniel is over there, back in the past. Like I said, Daniel is back in the past, and he's sitting in that chair acting like he's asleep. And Armand is behind him. I thought Armand was praying or doing something because he's in a trance. And it turns out Armand was trying to reach Lestat because, vampires cannot communicate with their maker through that trance or reading of the minds or whatever they do. So he was contacting Lestat. And he went in there to Louis and told him that he's contacted Lestat, and he's sitting there talking to Lestat. He's talking to Lestat, and he's telling Lestat how something is wrong with Louis, and Lestat is talking through him, so he has to tell Louis Armand has to tell Louis everything Lestat is saying. And Lestat, you can tell that during the 1970s, Lestat is a different vampire from who he is when Louis knew him. He's saying, my love, what's troubling you? Why are you sick? Or something like that. And he was talking, and Armand is relaying the message to him, and Lestat said, "I love you, Louis." And Armand would not tell Louis that he said, "I love you." And Lestat said, "Tell him I love him, Armand." And Armand would not say that, and Lestat got very angry. Then, boom, all of a sudden, Armand cut off connection with Lestat. And I'm sitting here, you, you being evil. You being evil. I knew at some point. Now, let me say this because we is getting into territory that I don't know. I know the interview with the vampire part, and I know the Queen of the Damn part. We is getting into parts of the story that I don't know. Okay, and Armand tells after he gets through with that he was finna kill Daniel, and he told Louis, "I'm cleaning up your mess," and Louis promises him not to kill Daniel. And Louis gave, and let me not even say this. Let me get back to another part, which was very sadistic of Armand. In this episode, he told Malloy, he was compelling Malloy, "You will die, you will live life, you will be, you will have a tragic, your wife will stop loving you, your kids will stop communicating with you." But Louis actually, and he also told him that your career will fail and you will go in a nursing home, but you will die kind of painless. And and Louis changed that around. Louis told him that he would have a very successful career. Um, After the whole fact was Armand was about to kill him, and Louis stopped Armand from killing him. And he compared him, say, "You will have a successful career, and you were this, and you were that." Okay, then at the end of this episode, it went back to the present time. And Louis is thinking about how he forgot all of this. And Malloy told him that even when my marriage failed, I never had a problem finding a job. It's because Louis gave him them compelling words. And he also stated to Louis, "It's not a coincidence that I could not remember that, and also how you could not remember that." And I know it was revealed that Armand compelled him to forget the events, compelled Daniel to forget the events. So he told Louis, "Isn't it a coincidence?" And I'm like saying to myself, yes, it's a coincidence. He you done forgot the whole event. How did Louis forget the whole event? It, is Armand able to compel another vampire? Maybe with his age, he can compel another vampire. Maybe because Louis was still burned from actually walking it into the sun, he was able to compel Louis. Louis was remembering this whole event throughout the whole episode. It was backwards and forward, mostly into 1970 something, but they were getting into the present day somewhat too. And Louis, you should have seen the way Louis and Daniel was looking at Armand, because throughout the whole episode, starting at the beginning, Armand went on a hunt, so he wasn't there, and Daniel begged Louis to help him get through those deep down forgotten memories while Armand was out. And at the end of this episode, the looks that Daniel and Louis were giving Armand, I would say the look Daniel was giving him was pure fear. Pure fear. That's what I said. Pure fear. And the look Louis was giving him was straight disgust. And Armand, he just in there, he don't know what's going on. He don't even know that he caught. He don't know he caught. You, I can't describe this episode well enough. You have to go watch this episode. But I'm gonna tell you this. This is my favorite episode of this entire season. And I give this episode a 10 out of 10. This episode was wonderful. Now next week we going back to Claudia and all that. But this episode was wonderful. I ain't gonna tell no lie. I love this episode. And that lets me know. See, that lets me know, because right now these first two seasons, these two seasons right here has been mainly about whole relationship with Louis and Claudia. This right here is pushed out of that whole relationship thing. So I want to see how much further they are going to go with that. I hope this show don't get canceled, because I want to see the whole Anne Rice story portrayed. And yeah, this episode 10 out of 10. And I'll see you in the next one.